Martha's clock, the woman who defeated time. Have you ever felt as though time passed you by? As if the best years slipped away while you were too busy taking care of everyone else? Have you ever looked in the mirror and whispered to yourself, "Is it too late for me?" Tonight, I will share with you a true story. The story of an ordinary woman with wrinkles carved by years of sacrifice, but with a hidden strength still burning in her heart. The story of a woman who defeated time itself. If you believe it's never too late to begin again, like this video, share it with someone who desperately needs hope, and subscribe to this channel. Your presence here is the beginning of a new chapter. This is the story of Martha, a woman of 62. After 40 years of marriage, her husband walked away, leaving only a note on the kitchen table. Her children had long since moved across the country, building lives of their own. Suddenly, Martha was left with nothing but silence and an old clock on the wall. But it was precisely that broken clock that changed everything. Martha had lived her whole life for others. She was the devoted wife, the careful mother, the homemaker who carried invisible burdens without complaint. But somewhere along the way, she forgot how to live for herself. On the evening of her 62nd birthday, her husband packed his bags. He left her with 4 words scribbled on a note: "I need to live." That night, as she sat alone in the living room, the old clock, an antique gift from her father on her 18th birthday, suddenly stopped ticking. 11:47 p.m., frozen. Martha stared at it, and strangely, she felt something stir deep inside her, as though time itself was whispering, "Enough." The clock had never stopped before. It had marked decades of laughter, arguments, Christmas mornings, late-night dinners, and whispered prayers. But now, it was silent. And Martha felt just as silent. For days, she wandered through her house, invisible even to herself. But one night, unable to sleep, she pulled out a piece of paper and a pencil. And for no reason she could explain, she sketched the clock. That sketch became another, then another. First clocks, then flowers, then places she had once dreamed of seeing, dreams she had buried. While cleaning her attic, Martha stumbled upon a dusty sketchbook, her own from when she was a teenager. She had talent, she had dreams, she had wanted to create. But at 20, responsibility had knocked on the door, and she closed the sketchbook. For 42 years, it remained shut. The following week, with trembling hands, she took a few of her new sketches to a local craft fair in her small town in Georgia. She sold 2 drawings, and then she cried alone in the restroom, not because of the money, but because for the first time in decades, someone saw her, not as a wife, not as a mother, not as a woman past her prime, but as Martha. At that fair, an older gentleman in a worn-out hat bought one of her sketches. He left her only a card with 3 words: "You have time. Aurora Gallery." Curiosity battled fear for days. Finally, Martha walked into Aurora Gallery. There she discovered the man was a curator, and he was searching for artists over 60 for an upcoming exhibition titled, "We Still Are." She almost didn't go. She thought she wasn't ready. She thought it was too late. But then she remembered the clock, and she went. On the night of the exhibition, Martha wore a navy blue dress that had been gathering dust in her closet for years. Her heart raced as she walked past the framed works, her own among them, each signed with her name for the very first time. Strangers stopped, studied, and wept. They told her that her drawings made them feel seen, that her art reminded them that even broken clocks can still mark the beginning of a new hour. One painting drew the most attention. The sketch of her frozen clock stopped at 11:47 p.m. Its title, "The Moment I Chose to Live." From that night forward, Martha was no longer invisible. She began teaching workshops for women her age, showing them not only how to draw, but how to reclaim themselves. She told them, "It's not about the art, it's about the courage to begin." She went back to school. She began therapy. At 64, she boarded a plane alone for the first time and traveled across the country. And the clock? She never fixed it. It still hangs silently on her living room wall, frozen in time, a symbol, a monument, a reminder. Today, Martha is no longer known as someone's wife or a someone's mother. She is known simply as herself. She always had time. She just didn't know it. Most people believe life has an expiration date, that after a certain age it's too late to start over. Martha proved them wrong. And maybe you are also waiting for someone, for a sign, for courage. But time itself is waiting for you. If Martha's story touched your heart, send it to someone who needs to remember that it's never too late. Like this video, comment below with the words, "It's still time," and subscribe to this channel for more stories that awaken the soul, because time is not the enemy. It's only the stage. The story is yours to write.